Your church has a reputation. The question is, did you shape that reputation or did it happen by accident? My name is Trenton LaFoon, and I'm the founder of Creative Arts Department. And in this video, we are going to talk a little bit about brand strategy within the church, what it is, what it isn't, why it matters for your church, and where to start. So, brand strategy is not just this trendy, cool thing. We're not just using lingo that seems like a cool thing to do. And we're not just talking about logos, colors, and website redesigns. Although those things do make up parts of your brand, those are components of your brand, not the brand itself. The other thing is that brand strategy is not some marketing manipulation tactic or some way for you to be inauthentic and convince people that they should be part of your church. This is about clarity and faithful stewardship of your mission. So, let's get a definition around this idea of brand strategy, specifically within the church. Your brand is what people say about your church when you are not in the room. So your brand strategy is about being intentional to shape what they say. Now, there are three core elements that I want to talk about for just a second to help you better understand and hopefully define your brand strategy. There is, first of all, this idea that you need to clarify your identity. So, who are you as a church? What is your unique calling in your community? You have to take time to understand your mission, your vision, your values, and really the essence of who you are as a church. Because here's the deal, there are tons of churches in the world today, and every church brings a uniqueness and a flavor to their community. And every church is located in a different part of the country or in a different community context. So you have to understand who you are, who you're called to be, and what's going to be the heartbeat of your church. So clarifying your identity is the first key element for your brand strategy. The second thing is to have a consistent experience. Consistency of experience is really, really important because you've got to ask yourself, does someone experience the same heart and values when they visit your building, your website, and your social media or get some flyer in the mail? If there is an inconsistency across the way you communicate, or even when they show up to different events at your church, then you're not building a brand with intentionality. It's just happening. And sometimes their experience might be good, and other times their experience will be bad. And you want to fight that by building consistency within every experience. So you clarify your identity, you build a consistent experience, and then you connect everything to the mission. Does everything you do, everything that you say, point people back to Jesus first and foremost and to your specific ministry calling? These are really, really important aspects to help make sure that people understand and live on mission. Now, why does this matter? Well, because when your brand is unclear, people will make assumptions. And when people make assumptions, they usually make the wrong ones. It's just the truth. They make wrong assumptions about your church, about your leadership, about your vision. They're going to assume and fill in the gaps on anything that they didn't feel clear about or that they misunderstood. So it's your job to try to help them understand and clarify everything that you possibly can. It's not foolproof and you're not going to get it all right, but you're doing your very best to try to help them understand who you are and where you are going. An example is the family who visited once to a church and they walked in the doors, and honestly, it felt pretty good. I mean, it felt like there was a lot of good things happening. There was a lot of people there. It seemed pretty engaging and exciting, but they dropped their kids off and they were a little confused in the process of getting their kids checked in. And then they went into service and they heard about 5 or 6 different announcements, and all of them were things that they felt like they already had to be a part of the church of to understand or even to be involved in. And at the end of the time there, they really walked away not sure what their next step was or even what the church's mission was and what they were trying to accomplish. They probably weren't going to come back because of that confusion and the lack of clarity that they experienced. So A clear brand strategy is what will help the right people find you, and it helps those people stick in your congregation and share the vision that you have. I mean, even Jesus himself was very particular about how he communicated, when he communicated, and making sure that people understood the mission that he was on. So, with all of that being said, where do we start? Well, there's three simple questions that you can ask as a church, and especially with your leadership teams, and you can start them this week. Here's the first one. If someone drove past your church, what would they assume about you? Ask yourself this. If someone drove past our church, what would they assume about us? Would they think that we are, you know, does it look like we're exciting? Does it look like we're meeting on a regular basis? Are we just, is it vacant? Is it clean? Is it organized? Is it presented well? All of those things are things that people are going to process as they pass your church. So what do you want them to feel when they drive past? Second question, what three words do we want our community to associate with our church? If you can only pick three words, what are the words that you want the community to associate with your church? And then the third question, is there a gap between who we think we are and how we are actually showing up? And this is the biggest and most important question, because if you are brutally honest, you're probably showing up in a way that might be a little bit different than what you think you are. And this is okay, because honestly, it happens to the best of us. It happens to everybody, every church that I've experienced and interacted with. There is an assumed reality, and then there is the reality. And I want you to lean into and have those hard conversations, because this is a journey. It is not just a one-time project, and branding is something that you do on a regular basis. Our goal is that we build something that people want to be a part of, because it's missional, purposeful, and it's helping people experience Jesus. If you would like more information or help on crafting a great brand strategy and really digging into this at your church, don't hesitate to reach out to us. We would love to help you. We would love to make sure that you have a great strategy in place to operate at your highest capacity.